Hi everyone, I'm sure you're all wondering why you're here. Well, it's actually pretty important. Today I'll be telling you whether I'm an introvert, extrovert, or ambivert. Now you're probably thinking, okay Hannah, why does that matter to me what you are? Well, there's many reasons actually. Knowing how to interact with someone is pretty useful, especially in the workforce. If you're meeting with someone new, it's important to understand the easiest way to communicate with them. Maybe if they're not so open, don't judge, because they could just be introverted. Or if someone is being a little too loud, maybe they're just extroverted. Before, I tried to discuss my view on introverts/extroverts on a discussion board, but I realized it was too hard to get my point across by just using text. So I decided I had the chance to elaborate more in this video. Obviously, humans evolve. We learn more as we get older, as we gain different experiences. I believe these can shift us from being introvert to extrovert and vice versa. Ever since I was a kid, I was considered very shy. Yes, that's in air quotes because some people try to correlate shyness as being an introvert. However, that's not always the case. Being young, I didn't like to go places that were unfamiliar or people who I didn't know around me. I stuck to people who made me feel safe and comfortable. And sometimes, honestly, that was just myself. I think that defined me as being introverted. I figured I would be this way my whole life, and I didn't like that. I think that's because I didn't understand what it meant to be an introvert. I thought I was considered to be simply just a lame person. However, since reading Quiet, I realized I should have embraced my introvertedness, much like I do now. I didn't understand the qualities I possess as an introvert. In Susan Cain's book Quiet, I can relate to when Adam Grant on page 55 says that one of the best leaders he met would lose focus when he interacted too much with people, so he carved out time for thinking and recharging. He was more interested in listening and gathering information than inserting his opinion or dominating in a conversation. It's important for myself to have time to myself and completely focus. Interruptions and myself don't go well together. Going from middle school to high school is a big transition for anyone. For myself, I think that's where I found my inner extrovert. Again, I was always the type of person who would hate to speak in front of the class, but prefer to discuss to a peer about a certain topic. But when I discovered different ways to be involved in high school, is when I finally got the chance to learn how to speak out. It took a while, but after joining new sports and clubs where I felt more comfortable, it became easier to join into large group discussions. Specifically freshman year, when I joined the tennis team and had never even picked up a racket, I found people who helped me gain the skills I needed. I like to think of this example and apply it to all the new things I tried in high school, and say that they each had a hand in guiding me to be less introverted. Not that there's anything wrong with that. By sophomore year, I had joined another new team, and that was cheering. Something definitely new to myself. To be a part of this team, you had to enjoy large crowds looking at you and being very loud. It easily became one of my most favorite things to do. For myself, I don't think I ever realized my potential of being extroverted until I pushed myself to try. And for some people, it's not for them. Never would I have imagined myself to be how I am today, but I believe it all stems from the choices you decide to make. Now, I haven't exactly mentioned what I quite am yet. First, I started saying I was definitely an introvert. Now I'm saying I love crowds and being loud, making me an extrovert? Confusing, I know. But that's the whole point of it. Different stages of life means you're different things. However, if I had to define myself right now, and I think this might be the one that I have forever, I would be an ambivert. What made me decide this was actually another thing I joined my senior year of high school. A friend approached me one day and said, "Hannah, I need a running mate for student council. Would you like to run with me and be vice president?" At first I was like, haha, yeah, sure. I can run pretty far away from this situation. But then I thought, why not? I love my school and maybe I can help change some things that aren't so great about it. The only catch was that we had to prepare a speech and present it in front of the entire student body, something I had never done before and was quite terrified. However, I said, Hannah, if you're going to get the opportunity to test what you can do, now is your chance. I wanted to see how I would handle public speaking. In the end, we ended up winning the student council elections, and I had to speak every Friday at assembly for the whole year in front of the whole student body. And I loved it. That's something I can say was very extroverted of myself. With this, I still believe I'm an ambivert. They are a combination of an introvert and extrovert. I've discovered that I love being social and listening to people, and taking in information as I can. I also really love my alone time and cherish it a lot, but there are times when I need to surround myself with people and my friends. Each of introverts, ambiverts, and extroverts holds special qualities that are great in life. Being an ambivert, it helps me see both sides of the spectrum, which comes in handy when being a PR and advertising concentration in the communications field. Being in the middle of an introvert and extrovert allows you to relate to either end because you've been in both positions. Whether it's coming up with a campaign ad to target certain people or meeting with a professional for a job interview, it's good to know how to communicate with all types of people. As Kane says on page 53, we tend to overestimate how outgoing leaders need to be. Most leading in a corporation is done in small meetings and it's done at a distance through written and video communications. There's types of jobs that possesses situations for every type to have. If you're afraid of having to meet in large intimidating groups, that may not even be the case. Lastly, Kane made me feel more relieved as she says on page 62, social media has made new forms of leadership possible for scores of people who don't fit the Harvard Business School model. One of the reasons we're in the communications course is because we recognize the importance of social media, and for me being an ambivert, I enjoy social media a lot because of the fact it's less intimidating. This book serves a great purpose of showcasing the qualities of introverts, extroverts, and everything in between. Choosing it for this class allows students to not only get a better understanding of ourselves, but also our peers and future people we come to work with. Thanks for watching!